What's up, guys, and welcome to the Corn Craze Social Club. Tonight, we got a special episode because not only are we bringing in somebody who a lot of you know and a lot of you guys suggested we get on the show, but we're bringing in somebody who has a different type of insight than I do and than some of our other guests have, because we've had some guys who do analysis and some guys who followed the sport for a long time, but nobody who's actually coached it. And we're not only bringing on a guy who's coached, but a guy who's coached elite level talent. A guy who's coached guys to the NFL. I think the last thing I saw was he had 25 active players in the NFL, at least as of last year. He coached for a very high-level program, a junior college in Kansas called Independence Community College, and that was actually a school featured on Last Chance U for 2 different seasons. He has a massive personality. He has a lot of things to say, and I can't wait to have him here. So let me introduce you guys to Coach Jason Brown. What's up, Coach JB?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great. My audience is very happy to have you here. They've been talking about it for this whole week ever since I posted that you were coming on. And we got some questions because we know that you've got your own show. You've had some strong opinions on Scott Frost, and you have an understanding of what makes a good coach, what makes a good culture, and things like that. So first things first, you were on Netflix a few years ago. You started your own show. How familiar are you with the college football landscape now, even though you're not a football coach?
I'm familiar as it gets. I mean, I still got a bunch of players playing. I still talk to a bunch of good friends of mine that are D1 guys and big time D1 guys. So, I'm still rooted in depth and deep inside of it. And I still go talk to coaches and see guys and buddies of mine. But nothing's really changed besides just the soft culture that we've created over the last few years, and then the NIL and the portal, which has just made it unwatchable for me. But, I still root for my kids and watch them. And we had 9 kids drafted this year from the show. For my 10th first rounder, Jermaine Johnson. So I'm obviously going to be involved, but doesn't mean I like what's going on or respect it. But at least this is year 3 for me not coaching. So I get to watch it now. When I used to not be able to watch it, I had to coach every day on Saturday. So getting to see it every day, the landscape of it, how watered down it is, and how bad college football really is as in totality. I get to see it now.
At least we set a baseline for where you stand. So have you ever been to Lincoln or Nebraska, period? I know you lived in Kansas for a minute.
Oh, yeah, I take my team there all the time. So we'd stop there and practice in the facility there. I think I did it twice. I think I practiced there in 2018 on the show. So we were there one of the years on the show we were there. We practiced there in the indoor. I think I practiced there twice, but I've been there a few times. So I've sent kids there in the past and, had buddies of mine coaching there. Ryan Hell was a friend of mine who they got let go last year. So I've had a lot of friends coach there. Dante Williams, who's actually at SC now, who coached with me for me. So I've done it all, man. I've been there for many times. So I know the tradition. I know the one of my former teammates growing up and JUCO rivals, Thunder Collins, was one of their big backs, and then my high school rival and good friend Lawrence Phillips played there, obviously. So I have a lot of history as far as who buddies of mine, and I've been there for games. I've been there to watch them. Plus, I played against guys that played there, and then I practiced there several times just with my teams.
You're tied in, so you got some things that you're gonna be able to answer for me today, because there's a lot of questions around the program right now, as you know, and things have gotten pretty damn ugly. Really quick, I wanted to shout out Beansy. He just told me that he's sipping on your slap dick whiskey just for the occasion tonight. So shout out Beansy with Coach's
shout
whiskey. All right, so I want to know your thoughts on this specific player, because he's a junior college player who was recruited last year from a school in New Mexico. I think it was New Mexico Military Institute. His name's Anthony Grant. He rushed for over 2,000 yards, All-American, and he didn't get that many looks. And I thought that was interesting. But when you look into it, a lot of guys are getting recruited from the portal now. Do you think the transfer portal is impacting JUCO player recruiting?
Oh, it's over. High school and JUCO is about to be over with. It's imploding in front of our very eyes. And JUCO used to be the transfer portal, FYI. That used to be the transfer portal. So you come to JUCO to get back to the 4-year. Now you sit in a portal. So I still have access to the portal. 6,616 kids in there. I think today there's 3 Division I schools. 99.9% of the portal kids, you have no idea who the hell they are, because they're the ones that, got beat out, got yelled at by the coach, just soft as runny, wetty, drippy shit. Those are the kids you see in the portal. And unfortunately, when the high school landscape created this, don't have to pass the SAT, ACT, you don't have to do the test for 4 years because of COVID, it's kind of ruined a lot of things. And what happened is that was just a kind of a slap in the face to say, we're gonna be equitable, Title IX, all this bullshit. But really, high school kids are getting under recruited at an all-time high. JUCO is JUCO is as bad as I've ever seen the talent. So the talent level in JUCO right now is as bad as I've seen it, because 4-year schools don't need the JUCO kid, and the JUCOs aren't getting the 4-year kid like they used to because of the portal and what sits in there. And the D1 coaches, talking to good friends of mine, Sark and Coach Lane Kiffin and big-time Division I coach and buddies of mine, you have to go in the portal because you have to keep up with the Joneses. And that is from their mouth, not mine. And that is what is crippling high school and community college football. And it's going to implode, and it's going to be unrecoverable very, very soon if we don't fix it or somebody don't stop this dumbass shit.
So what's happened when you say that there isn't as much talent in JUCO now? Are JUCOs not producing as much because they're taking bounce backs from D1s? Where the JUCO or the guys who were going JUCO, where are they ending up?
The portal. They're in the portal.
No, but if you got a high school kid, who went, it was the majority of talent in the JUCO who made it to the NFL, because I think you said 20% of NFL's JUCO or something crazy. Was the majority of those guys coming back as bounce backs from D1s, and now they don't got to because they're just going straight to the portal? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Got it.
Now you can get high school kids that don't qualify or whatever, but now you got to understand, the high school kid right now, all are qualified. If you had a 2.0, you're all eligible to go to the NCAA. The NCAA, though, the teams are not signing them no more. They're not signing the high school kids. So now, high school kids with NIL and the transfer portal being what it is, high school kids now have become a little bougie and refuse to go JUCO. They'll sit out a year thinking that the portal kids will get a spot and they'll get picked up by the 4-year. They'll get signed. It's not what's happening. So now high school kids are at an all-time high, sitting around stuck. You got kids in the portal sitting around waiting for a school. And now you have, basically do the math, 130 plus D1s. You got 6,500 kids in the portal. They're all not going to the D1 schools that are available. So you're going to, let's just say every school took 2 portal kids times 130 or times 60 or 133. 600 or 266 kids or whatever, that's basically what's going to get taken out of the portal. So do the math. There's still 6,000 plus kids in the portal. And it's just becoming a mockery of the original plan of this thing. And not only are they missing out on JUCO as far as creating some tough skin, they're also getting a false sense of truth. They're being lied to by everybody in America. And they're sitting there and they don't have to go JUCO anymore. And what's happening is JUCO is football jail. It creates tough skin. It teaches the truth. And these kids now go 4-year out of JUCO and they appreciate what they have at Nebraska. They appreciate what they have at Alabama. Right now you're sitting in a portal, and college football is the worst I've ever seen it, man, from top to bottom. Everyone, you can win. Anybody can beat anybody except for Alabama right now, currently, maybe Georgia, and we'll see about Clemson. Besides that, Appalachian State scores 61 points on North Carolina, Power 5 school. That should not be happening. And don't tell me, oh, coach, it's equitable. It's fair. Everyone has a shot now. No, it's not. It's fucking shitty football. And the bottom line is, let me break it down to you where other people won't tell you the truth. The bottom line is this. LSU lost their game the other day because they have 30 transfers. And it's the worst display of tackling I've seen in 40 years. And it's all across college football. Why is that, Coach? I'm going to tell you why. And then all the scared fucking pussies won't tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. The bottom line is, let's just say, for instance, you were at LSU. You transferred to Nebraska. Now you left Nebraska, and you're now at Appalachian State. And you've left Appalachian State, and now you're at fucking Alabama. You just got trained how to tackle 4 ways, 4 different ideologies, 4 different philosophies. So you're telling me that is good for college football? So you telling me that the culture that was once a very, very finite, tightly knitted group in that locker room is now every semester a new group of kids, a new philosophy, a new ideology, a new culture has to be set by the coach, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And good, bad, or indifferent, you're getting coached 4 different ways in a matter of 3 years. You're not going to have quality football. Sorry. You're going to have shitty football across the board. And guess what comes with shitty tackling? More injuries than we've ever seen in our life. And it's because we're so worried about transfer portal, getting the kid into our school, and then saying we got a bigger dick than you. And now we got this kid. But in theory, you're hurting the kid, you're hurting your school, and you're hurting the culture that's being set because there is no such thing as culture, and every kid is leaving times 4, and you got this landscape in your locker room that is just not conducive for success. And now you're seeing it at an all-time rate across the country. Who's the best tackling team in football? Alabama.
Bama, because they got the most consistency and they keep their players.
They don't go in the portal. They don't lose kids to the portal. They don't go in the portal. Who's the next best team in tackling? Like, look at the people that don't go in the portal. Clemson, great defense, had great defense for a long time. They had a horrible year last year, and they won 11 fucking football games. That's what people don't understand. Oh, they're horrible. They won 11 fucking football games, 99% more than everyone else in America. So people, just the naysayers out there on Twitter, the gurus on Twitter that know so fucking much, the 600-pound life cats eating donuts at fucking Winchell's, and they think they know your job. They're the ones that, DJ's shitty and Clemson's bad. They're the best tackling team besides Alabama. They stay out of the portal. They don't take portal kids. And the consistency, the culture, the philosophy is all the same. You saw a glimmer of it against Notre Dame. It looked like they tackled very well versus Ohio State for 3 quarters. It looks like the coach there got them. They bought in. They've got a few portal kids. Oregon has 22 portal kids. Looked absolutely fucking atrocious. They should have been playing. I mean, like, they were horrible looking. And Bo Nix is 0-3 versus Georgia. I called the game. I said they're getting blown out. Bo Nix can't beat Georgia, no matter where he goes. So the bottom line is we're worried about taking a transfer quarterback over building a quarterback from scratch and getting him out of high school and building a kid. And I just don't agree with it. I don't like it. I think we're creating a soft ass, and soft asses make for hard heads.
I think that's exactly right. You know, Nebraska's lost a bunch of guys to the portal, and all these things you're saying are proof to why Nebraska's been failing, right? Nebraska lost, I don't know what the exact number is off the top of my head, but at least 6 or 7 dudes 2 years ago to the portal. They were all from Florida. And I want to know if you think that's these kids don't like living in the Midwest. They're soft and they just want to play right away, and they needed to get developed before they could play there. So they transferred out to FAU and Toledo and shit like that. Do you think what is it? The culture, the mentality of kids now, or is Nebraska just a shitty place to go and play right now?
How? You guys have sold out 1,000 games in a row. How can you not win there? I'm just confused here. Like, Hawaii had 32 transfers leave there. They had 32 kids leave the transfer and enter the portal. The fucking head coach's son entered the portal on his ass. That is a fundamental problem, fellas. We have a fucking soft, cultured bunch of kids out here. And the coaches, you either allow it or you coach it. That's just it. That goes for life, too. You allow this kid to go fucking rob McDonald's or you fucking coach it so it don't happen, right? We're allowing this shit to happen. The NCAA, Non-Caring Assholes of America, they have created this entire soft culture so they can make more money. And they think the NIL was going to pull what I call in the hood an okie doke. They were going to try to fool you by saying, oh, this is an NIL deal. We're going to pay you. No, you're not. 99% of these kids aren't getting a fucking dime. And now you've created an even worse environment in the locker room. So my backup quarterback who don't get a dime because his jerseys don't sell, and the backup corner and the third string tackle who don't sell anything and don't get a T-Mobile contract and don't get this bag and this car deal, they're in the locker room now looking at the coach like, I ain't listening to this cat. And I'm trying to go chase greener pastures. So guess what they do? I'm entering the portal next. So you think the NIL is helping? No, it's only helping the big-time elite kid. It ain't helping fucking the whole Alabama roster. So now you have all these different places coming in saying, oh, our whole roster now got $30,000. We have a whole thing in place. They're doing that because it's becoming so bad, like I said years ago. It's coming so bad in the locker room, and the buy-in is just horrible. It's horrible. And I don't know, man. I've never had a kid leave my program. I've never been in the NIL situation either. But kids have been bought for as long as I've been alive. So for all this NIL thing being brand new is a fallacy. A lot of cats just don't know. This Eric Dickerson and them, go look up SMU when they were there. Go look up. They were making more money than NIL dudes. So people think this is brand new. No, it ain't. It's just now becoming legal, apparently. And what you have is it's created a soft society all the way around. And now kids can leave because they get yelled at. Kids can leave because they didn't start. And I don't know if you know this, but the number one reason for the transfer portal, the kids enter the portal, is one reason. A lot of people don't tell you because they're not in the business and they don't know the real. It's the 2 5-star kids that come into Alabama together. One goes to Alabama, one goes to LSU. Big time 5-star rival kids. They're the numbers 1 and 2 recruit. They played together in high school. They're boys. They played 7-on-7 together. The LSU kid starts. He's the man. LSU guy. The Alabama kid told he's going to redshirt by Nick Saban. That kid transfers. You know why? Because, come here. He transfers because peer pressure. Solely peer pressure. Twitter got him. Twitter said, you know what? You're not good enough as your boy. You don't start at Alabama, blah, blah, blah. Guess what he does? Enters the portal now because he ain't cool no more like his boy at LSU, which is a shittier program. And Saban's telling him, listen, you want to go to the NFL or redshirt? And if that kid chooses to do that, he's probably going to make a lot of money. But the kids don't, and they transfer and they hit the portal because of peer pressure and simply being talked about on social fucking media. Like, who cares? And that's the fucking place we are at right now. That's the culture we're in. That is truly the place we're in, and it's really sad. And it's unfortunate because these kids will never be coached up and taught the right and the difference between right and wrong and indifferent and all these different things. And it's created this horrible place we're in.
The fucked up part is nobody can argue with you. It's true, but no one knows the solution. I want to know if a solution could be in the coaching room. Could you, if you're the coach at Nebraska, could you identify a player as being soft, or do you still got to take that player just to take the chance because he's got so much talent? What's the issue with coaches in deciding to take these guys who ultimately just are kind of weak-minded and transfer?
It's twofold. First of all, the kid and the parent who's choosing to go there and then enter the portal or write this word on Twitter that's a total it's just want everyone in your audience to know. The word decommit, you should type it in your cell phone and see if a red line comes underneath it. And that's correction line because it doesn't fucking exist. That word is not a real word. So for all these dumb fucks out here who says, I'm going to decommit from Oregon. Well, you never committed then because there's only one word. It's commit. And there's no such thing as decommit. So you need to fucking figure it out. Number one, all you kids out there. Number two, to answer your question, the issue is the parent and the kid don't really do any due diligence in finding out why they're going to this school. And if you're chasing a coach, so let me ask you something. Is it the Nebraska Cornhuskers or is it Scott Frost University?
I mean, it's Nebraska Cornhuskers, but people treat it like it's Scott Frost University when they're getting recruited there, I'm assuming.
Well, that's the problem. Like, is it Nick Saban or is it Alabama University? It's going to be Alabama before and way after Nick Saban leaves. It's going to be Nebraska way after Scott Frost leaves. And the problem is these kids choose a school because a coach told them something cool or said, I got a cool uniform or I got Nike or whatever you want to say. And they choose to go there. They get there. And then the coach has been sucking their dicks for 7 months, walks right by them on campus and don't say a word to them. And the kid's coming up to him like, hey, coach, what up? Like it was recruiting season. And the coach walks right by him. And now this dude's butthurt. And he's like, man, I got played. So then what do? I enter the portal. So you didn't do your due diligence and during the process to find out that this was the right fit, A. And the coach is a car salesman who really don't give a fuck about you anyway and lied to you the whole time. And he's a piece of shit too. So the bottom line is this business is a meat market. These kids are treated as the pieces of meat in the market. And until people tell that story and understand that is the truth, there are going to continue to be transfers at an all-time rate because the NCAA allowed it, A, and there's no commissioner in place. And if there was a football commissioner just for football in place who drew a line in the sand and said, this is the criteria you have to transfer, you have to meet this, A, B, C, D, or if you don't, you can't transfer, or you have to sit out. Right now, there is no consequence for your actions for being soft. And so now, LSU kid, for instance, you see him, he deletes his Instagram. He's sad. He dropped balls. He didn't have catches. He's bitching on the sideline, acting like a hoe. And now he's probably in the portal. I don't know if he does or not. But it amazes me that everyone goes and starts bashing Brian Kelly that all the kids don't want to play for him. How do you fucking know? So let me ask you something. So is 6,600 kids in the portal all Brian Kelly's fault too? Is every coach in the horrible and shitty and results in 100 transfers? Or are we just fucking pussy soft and we can't admit it as a society and we don't want to face the truth that we can't tell these kids the truth because we're scared they'll transfer on us at the youth level, high school level, and it's going. Let me tell you something real quick. This is the first time in my life that the soft shit is spiraling upwards compared to going downwards. Now, let me explain it. I've been saying this on a few shows. Youth Pop Warner, they're transferring all over the place. High school, you're going 4 high schools in 4 years. College, you're transferring and hitting the portal 4 times in 4 years some places. And now what do you see in the NFL? What are you seeing in the NFL? Motherfuckers demanding trades. They got 4 years on their contract still. You got James Harden, KD, 4 years on their contract, demanding trades in the NBA. That is a societal issue. I don't understand how people don't realize this is a thing that's happened over the last 15 years. And since we've allowed it and not coached it, you're now seeing the fuckery that's happening. And now it's spiraling out of control. And now everybody wants to call other people and say, damn, what can we do? What should we have done? Da-da-da-da. And, well, you fucked up. I'm sitting at the house smoking a fucking cigar, homeboy. That's what you did and fucked up. Or you could fix this whole problem. But, hey, it is what it is, man. I don't kiss ass and suck dicks. You don't see scabs on my knees. I don't give a fuck. It's fucking the generation. Because these kids need guys like me. And I know another 100 guys like me who ain't coaching either because of this reason. We don't want to do it. We don't want to deal with the parent. We don't want to deal with the administration that won't back you up. And we don't want to deal with this soft-ass kid that can't be yelled at because he thinks correction is criticism. No, it's not. It's not personal either. It's all business. And I'm trying to get you to the NFL. And the last time I checked, dog, I know I'm long-winded, but I'm so fucking irritated with this portal shit. The last time I checked, everybody's telling me, Coach, you should be able to better yourself and go to another school and chase the bag so you can have a better draft opportunity. So you're telling me 30 years ago that we didn't want to better ourselves to go to the fucking NFL, dumb fuck? Like, that's the same shit we did. You know the difference is? We stuck it out with our brothers who we bleed, sweat, and cry with, and we didn't want to leave them. How many times have your boys on your team came up to you and said, hey, dog, don't worry about the coach. He's an asshole, but, man, we got this. We're going to make it through. We're going to get this thing done. We got to get through it. We got a league title to win, or we're going to whatever. Nowadays, fuck you, homie. I'm out. I'm leaving. I don't give a shit about my partners, my teammates, my boys. And that's the problem. We don't care no more about our own teammates. Like this cat at LSU deleting his Instagram basically told his team, fuck you. And I'm like, fuck the coach. You're going to have COOs, CEOs, and bosses that you're not going to like in life. Figure it out. Get through it. It's going to be all right. You're not going to fucking die from it. And what's happening is we're doing this at an all-time rate, and now this generation is gonna think it's okay, and they're gonna train their kids to be this way, and their kids are gonna raise their kids to be this way, and that's where we're at. We haven't broke the damn curse, and that's
right. It's a cycle outside of just football, and so we're on this societal issue, and that's what's carried into football, and it can't just be solved by a coach. It's deeper, way too deep. All right. Well, I want to transition. I want to transition from the portal before you get too hot, because I can tell you're passionate about this topic, and it makes a lot of sense, and it tells us a lot where things are going for sports in general. But let's talk about Scott Frost. Denon, do you want to come in and ask a question?
Yeah, actually. You've been pretty outspoken about Frost being the number one on your hot seat. At least that's the way that I think most have perceived it on this side of the fandom. Do you think he deserved another chance this year to fire half of his staff and make another run at it and get this last chance? At least what a lot of people perceive as the last chance.
So this is the deal. I don't have a beef or personal issue with Scott Frost. I just say, based on what's happening and the place he's at, Nebraska, and what's going on the last 2 years, I just know he's the first guy on the hot seat because of where he's at and all that. I'm not saying this guy's an asshole. He needs to be taken out of there. I don't do all that shit because I was in the profession for a long time. I know how it is. And I know there's a lot of things that you don't see that people say that is not true regarding the coach or the staff or what have you also. So having said that, I just know, contrary to everyone's belief, he's the number one guy on the target list for everybody because it's Nebraska, which is still a high-profile gig, or nobody would even talk about Scott Frost if it wasn't. Having said that, it's a result-oriented business, this game, man. This business is results-oriented. You either win or you lose. You graduate or you don't. You get a scholarship or you don't. You go to the NFL or you don't. There's no gray area. Like, the last time I checked, they checked the scoreboard at the end of the games, and it falls on the head coach. The wins and losses don't go on the assistant last time I checked. So you have to have big boy shoulders and wear big boy hats and shoes, and you have to strap up and understand that this is what this is. And having said that, I don't have anything against him. I'm just saying I think he has a tall task, and he's going to have this scrutiny over him, and he's going to have these naysayers over him because he's in a rut. They're struggling to beat FCS schools. They're struggling. And when you get to be in this rut and the aura is over your head coach and your program, everybody feels that energy. It's so hard to get out of and switch it. The only thing these administrators know how to do is fire you and move on. So that is where he's at. I'd be surprised if he makes it through week 6. I mean, I'm just being honest, just because I know the profession so well. It's unfortunate. That's the truth. Does he deserve a second to answer your question? He's Scott Frost. He's lore there. I think that is why he deserves second chance. And further elaborate on that, just understand something, man. the people that hold this PhD piece of paper that's on their wall, that's in this frame and behind this big cherry wood desk at Nebraska and at all these other schools called the president, they have PhDs, but they're all gutless and they won't pull the plug and hire or fire a coach. They hire committees and law firms to go search committee to find a coach for your institution to coach your kids on your campus, where this institution that's going to come in and hire your coach has never been. They don't know who your kids are. They have no idea who your players are. They don't have an idea of the heartbeat on your campus, the traditions that go into it. They have no idea about anything, but they're going to hire the right coach for those kids. That's what you're telling me, Mr. PhD holding president. Now, if you want to define the word insanity, there it is. Doing some shit over and over and think it's going to change, expect a different result. That's what these college presidents are doing every year. These guys are making 300 grand, 500, a million, and they have a PhD. Why do you have a fucking PhD if you can't drop your nuts and make a decision? What's best for your kids on your campus, who brings in the most revenue of any place on your campus, who builds your libraries and computer labs, and you can't hire a fucking coach with a PhD? You're going to hire a search committee who knows nothing about the landscape of these kids, where they're from, the mother's issues. Is she a crackhead? Is she working 3 jobs? Is she fucking... You don't know none of it. And you're going to hire a coach who knows nothing about that culture? That is the problem, number one. It starts up here at the top. And then now you see why we have so many fundamental issues on the bottom, because we're first hiring the wrong people. And we want to hire the popular person instead of the right person. And what's happening is this is a recyclable business, and the same coaches get hired at new places every year. And you're paying people like Willie Taggart $17 million to leave Florida State. How fucking ignorant does that sound to you?
It's horrible.
I don't know. I'm not a math major, dog, but I sure know this shit.
Do you think that cloud continues to hang over programs that you're talking about, that bad aura, you know, because obviously you've got players that stay. It's not like you flip your entire roster from year to year, right? So you've got, you know, if I'm speaking specifically about the transition from Bo Pelini to Mike Riley to Scott Frost, it's just been a downhill slide, and it just kind of seems to, at best, level out as low as it is, maybe spike up a little bit, right? But we haven't seen, you know, better than a 4-win season yet.
Yeah, it's been garbage
since 2017 or 2016. Yeah, and that's, I think, where a lot of it really started slipping.
Yeah, I know you guys are Nebraska fans, and your fan base is Nebraska fans, and that's all good. That's a good thing. You guys got a fan base. You guys got health support. You fill out Lincoln Memorial Stadium, however, 80,000 every day and all that. That's fucking unbelievable. And it's great to see that, because California sports is horrible. The buy-in's shitty. You got 30,000 at the Rose Bowl last week for UCLA. It was a joke and a mockery, right? And that's what it is. I understand the difference. We have the Lakers and Dodgers and Rams, and we got other shit to do, and girls and good pussy and shit like that, right? So we're not in fucking Lincoln, Nebraska, freezing our nuts off. So we understand all that. The point is this, though. I have no sympathy for you, Nebraska fans, because this is the reason. The bottom line is, be careful what you fucking ask for. Frank Solich won you 10 football games, and you fired him. And you're still dealing with that right to this day, because you thought there was bigger and better, greener pastures out there when Frank Solich was the best coach you've had since Osborne. And then you hired Pelini. You didn't like his mouth. You didn't like how, by the way, you guys had Joe Carter and Damian Stafford, 2 of my former players, 2 of your best players during that era. And you also had Levante David and another JUCO guy. You also had a couple other big-time JUCO guys when they were actually decent, and they didn't like Bo Pelini's back and forth attitude, etc. But he won 9 football games, and now you're crying over spilled milk. No, motherfuckers, you guys fucked yourself. Go talk to your president.
That's the question I got for you. I had that one on my list. So Bo got fired after multiple 9 and 10 win seasons, consistently churning out NFL players. But is it fair for Nebraska fans to expect or at least hope they can get a coach who can get them to the Big Ten championship at this point. Because Bo's only issue was he was getting blown out by Wisconsin and Iowa, and he couldn't make it to the Big Ten championship. And if he did get there, he'd lose by 60.
Sure looks like a good fucking problem to have now, don't it?
Listen, hey, for the record, I
beat by Wisconsin as your only loss. That sure looks like a good fucking problem now. See, that's the problem with these fans, these fair weather fans, and these administrators who look up to boosters and all this different shit. You always think you're going to get Nick Saban, but you're not. You're not going to get Pete Carroll. You're not going to get Nick Saban. You're not going to get Urban Meyer. The bottom line is you need to find a person that's not necessarily home-rooted, but understands football as his home root and in totality can go anywhere. Kids follow me anywhere. I can go to the desert out here in Vegas. I can stay here in Cali. I can go to fucking Independence, Kansas. I can go to Garden City, Kansas. I can go to Lincoln, Nebraska. It doesn't matter where I go. Kids will follow me because of the genuine nature of my sales pitch. And the reputation that precedes myself is putting in 260 kids in Division I, 28 in the league, 8 won a Super Bowl. I had 10 first rounders. I can go on and on and on about all this different stuff. And that is why kids follow me, because they know I'm not lying to them either. I'm not going to bullshit them and sell them a dream. Right now, when these coaches are selling them dreams and then the kid walks on campus and the coach walks by him and says nothing, you have a false sense of you're hurt, butt hurt. That's what it is. These kids are soft right now. So now the kid's butt hurt because he's felt lied to this whole time. And now his mom has been lied to. Now the kid goes home and says, Mama, I was lied to. I'm going to transfer. And the mama goes, all right, do what you got to do. But in my generation, I go home and say, Mom, I'm going to transfer. My mom would have slapped the fuck out of me and said, fuck you are. And you're going to go prove them wrong. And you're going to go fucking do this and do that, right? Or my daddy. So there's just a huge cultural issue. It's bigger than football. And expectations are at an all-time high as if we are still in the 90s and 2000s and have this consistency that we don't have. You don't have it. You're hiring coaches every 2 to 3 years. You're expecting them to win you Big Ten championships in Lincoln when Lincoln's just not what it is. USC is not what it is. Texas isn't what it is. Florida State's not what it was. Miami's not what it is. So you got all these big-time so-called powerhouse schools that are shitty now. They're absolutely horrible. The culture's horrible. The fucking landscape's bad. Everything's bad. And we still have the same expectation on Twitter that you're supposed to win a Big Ten title. And it's like, no, man, you're not. You don't understand this landscape. And you're going to hire coaches that have no relationship with these kids further than, man, I'm just going to get this kid so I get this next bag. I'm going to get this next contract, and then I'm out. Lincoln's a stepping stone for me. Now, that is what you have all over America. These coaches don't give a fuck about these kids. They're looking for this payday. And the kids see it when they get on campus compared to the recruiting process. And that's the part about it. That's the kid. I told you it's a meat market. The kid's a piece of meat. And that's just what it is, man. And these coaches could give a shit less. Now, there's a lot of good coaches out there that care about the kids. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of these big-time guys could care less about these guys' future. And the kids, I'll leave you at this. Kids are dumb. You can call them dumb all you want. You can call them everything in the book. You know what they're not? They're not fucking stupid. They'll see right through a fake-ass motherfucker in a New York Minute. And if you ain't genuine with them cats, they're entering the portal and they're fucking out of there. So you better realize and understand that these kids, you got to learn these kids individually before you can ever control the team as a whole.
Would you say there's incentive for some coaches to get their job and then lose so they get fired and they take that bag with them?
How prevalent is that? How many coaches you think are coaching for big paydays? And like the comment that Ed Ogeron made the other day about getting his buyout and leaving, you think that's prominent or only a few guys like that trying to give money?
Oh, they're all looking for the bag. Now, that doesn't mean they're all looking for the bag to lose and leave. I'm not saying that. I've never heard that. I'm not into conspiracy theories and shit like that when it comes to this. I know a lot of shady situations in the business. I know a lot of shady guys in the business. I know a lot of shady institutions in the business. I don't know that they're looking to get a job to lose. I've never heard that one or seen it or witnessed it. I do know they all chase the bag. They all want more money, just like you guys want more money. If Podcast One called you tomorrow and said, leave today and do a Colorado fucking Buffalo podcast, I'll give you $1 million, you're leaving, bro. Sorry, Nebraska fans. So that's what people don't get. People kill me when, the live golfers, you guys are communists. You guys left. Really? But they're losing money on the PGA, and now my buddy Pat Perez made $1.8 million in a 3-day weekend in the live. Fuck your philosophy. I just made $1.8 million, bro. So we're all tasting the bag. I don't care what anyone says. They just don't tell you the truth. And they think they can sugarcoat all this shit and lie to you in front of your face. And at the end of the day, it gets old, man. Like, truth is refreshing. These kids need the truth. They need discipline. They need coaching. I just want to ask you guys something. If I was such an asshole and nobody likes me, why did I have the best players in America every single fucking year? And why did they stay? And why have you never seen a tweet about me from one of my players talking shit? I just want to throw that out there. I'll wait for all your responses, but I'm just throwing it out there.
That's the thing I don't think people understand. Just because you're straightforward and truthful doesn't mean you're not connecting with players, right? And that you don't got the best intentions for them. I think people got issues with that just because, like you said, it's a societal issue. But no, I'm completely on board with what you had to say. And in response to what you said about everything else, about the money and everything, I'm going to say one thing. Go Buffalo or Buffaloes or whatever Colorado is. I'm a huge Buffalo fan tomorrow if that happens. But here, I got 3 questions. I got 3 questions that I want to talk about specific Nebraska before I let you go because it's Monday Night Football and I want to make sure you can watch the Rams.
Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Thursday night, whatever we're on. But number 1, I want to know where Nebraska ranks in the Big Ten for coaching jobs. Do you think that's a top 5 job in the Big Ten? It's fallen off. Are they like a Michigan State? Or are they more like a Purdue?
Oh, they're bottom of the barrel, bro. They're bottom of the barrel.
If you're a coach and you got your pick, and you can go to any Big Ten coach, you're telling me bottom barrel is Nebraska? You got fan support, you got money, you've got tradition. The best recruits are all still going there.
In the West, in the Big Ten West, they've definitely out-recruited the rest of the Big Ten West.
Ignore the East, but we're talking about the West.
Who's the West? Who's in the West? I don't know fucking anything about
Nebraska. You got Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin. Those are the top 3 in the West. In the East, you've got Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. Where's Nebraska fall in that top 6?
5. What have you finished in the last? What Scott?
Garbage.
Guys,
every year 3, 4, 5 wins for the last 6, 7 years.
Well, just under Scott Frost, though, what is your guys' ranking in the conference
over the last 5 years?
End of the season, yeah.
Yeah, their average is second to last in the division.
Who's last?
Last is either Illinois or Northwestern.
Okay, so that's where you are, bro. You answer yourself your own question.
But as a coach, you're still going to choose going to Nebraska, going to some of these other schools like in Iowa and building that up over in Nebraska, even though Nebraska's probably got more money, got better recruiting sources, got more tradition, got everything. I mean, they've got a lot more to offer than Iowa, even though Iowa's been good, right?
Bro, that's the key. That's it. Nobody gives a fuck about all that shit you're talking about. They're not producing. So Iowa, first of all, Ferentz ain't leaving. He's staying there. That's number 1. That's why you can't really ask this question because it's so open-ended.
Well, no, I'm saying if you had your pick as a head coach, because Nebraska's getting a new coach soon. It's almost inevitable. If you got your pick to go to one of these schools, and you know that you're gonna make the same amount of money at all of them, but which one's the most desirable to build up? Gives you the best chance to win. Because Nebraska might have sucked, but I
got a different mindset though, bro. Like, I can win in Compton. It doesn't matter where I go. I'm gonna win at fucking Northwestern the same as I'm gonna win at Nebraska, the same as I'm winning at Purdue. It's different for me. it's an open-ended deal because Pat Fitzgerald's been there 17 years. So it's a different deal. He ain't leaving. You're not getting that job. Iowa Ferentz has been there fucking 80,000 years. He's not leaving. So you got all these different, you got these staples in this conference as well that are these good old boys that are never going to leave. And then you have these open-ended jobs that open up every single year. Nebraska, Purdue, fucking Michigan State, possibly Penn State, maybe if James is, he's got to be on the hot seat. So you got all these different ones. So Nebraska's always attractable to me, but I think all those places you can win. They all have resources. They all have a booster sitting there with big money for the right coach. You just haven't seen it. Purdue has a $1 billion fucking oil guy too. So does Northwestern. So does Iowa. So that's what I'm saying. But they may not want to break it out for you, Scott Frost. They may not want to break it out for you, Jason Brown, because they don't like you. They don't trust you. They don't know. Now, that's why you have to go in there and get it going. And then you start to see, wow, this place actually has more money than we thought. You can do that at every one of these Power 5 schools. Every one of them. I don't care what school you go to. I can win at any of them. And that's what these D1 coaches know, too. They know that. These administrators know that. And that's one reason you'll never see me coaching on a D1 sideline. Because they're never going to allow that because they know these kids will gravitate to me and I'll have every single fucking recruit in America at wherever school I'm at.
Okay, so I get where you stand on that. Then here's the next question I got for you. 2 more. A lot of rumors about Urban Meyer in Nebraska. First off, could Nebraska get a guy like Urban Meyer even if they broke out the $10 million a year? Second, do you think Urban's ever going to coach again in D1? Because people are, like you said, so sensitive in society today, and he had his issue.
Urban will coach. I don't know if he goes to Nebraska or not. Too risky for him because it's not a big enough city. But he'll coach again. The cancel culture, see, the thing about him is he's not going to be canceled like a guy like me. You don't have him yelling, berating coaches and kids and shit like that in the naysayers, even though Urban's as bad as it gets with that. People don't realize. That's Zach Smith, who's on my show every Monday. And I've known Urban a long time. And we're all that way. So is Nick Saban. So is Pete Carroll. Everyone, you don't even want to know the texts I get from Big Time coaches that said, JV, we thank you so much for doing what we want to do. We just can't do it at these places we're at because it's so fucking soft and we're all this old shit. Well, anyway, having said that, Urban will coach again because what happened is looked at halfway by women as bad, and then the other guys, the men on the side of the thing, ain't going to give a shit anyway. Half of them are weirdo fucks anyway. So he ain't going to be fucking downgraded or looked at differently. He don't have that hitting a kid or pushing somebody. He didn't do none of that. So you don't have that on him. So all you're going to say is he has a morale issue and a character issue with his wife and all that. That's not going to hold him from getting a job.
That all blows over with time.
It's like he has John Gruden emails, bro, from fucking NFL. So there's a completely different deal. He'll get a job. Now, Nebraska, I don't see him at Nebraska. But you never know. He might have to do it for 2 or 3 years just to get back to the USCs or the Ohio States of the world.
All right, so what type of coach do you see going to Nebraska? Let's say Scott Frost is done in a month. Who's a level that Nebraska fans could hope for?
I'll tell you one of the best coaches in America this is the thing. Everybody wants to hire this famous big name commercial guy. They're the fucking worst coaches. They're the worst. Tell your president and your boosters and all your guys to go knock on the door at Tulane University and hire a guy named Willie Fritz, who has 200+ wins in Division I, and he's won everywhere he's ever been. He's from Kansas. He's a Kansas JUCO guy, and he's rooted in that Midwest area. That is the type of guy you guys need to go get, because that dude understands how to build a culture. And he's not the commercialized, pizzazz, flashy guy. And Nebraska's going to continue to look for the flashy, pizzazz guy, and you're going to continue to be fucking shitty. Just mark my word. Because even if you got Urban Meyer, let's just be honest. Do you fucking think he's staying there for 10 years, bro?
Of course not.
He's there for 2 years to clean his name up, and he's out of there, and you're back to being shitty. So hire a guy that wants to be there. That's the number one thing you need to do. Who wants to be at Nebraska, not has to be there. There's a huge difference in having to be somewhere and wanting to be somewhere. And just like you want to do podcasts. You don't have to. And life is about doing something we want to do, not what we have to do. And that's what a lot of people live in, this job-to-job life instead of having a career. There's a completely different fucking thing. Career and jobs are completely different. So hire a guy that wants to be at Nebraska. I think Scott Frost wanted to be there. I do. I think he wanted to be there. But he found out that we don't have what we used to have when I played here. And this portal and this NIL and this social media platform that's opened the eyes of these kids now. And these kids now don't go around no more saying, I want to be a Cornhusker. They don't go around no more saying, I want to be a USC Trojan. They don't have home schools no more. They don't have dream schools no more. They want to go to whoever's throwing them the bag, whoever has the best uniforms, whoever looks pretty on social media, whoever's coach is the coolest and tells them the biggest lie. That's ultimately what the cool shit means. And not the truth. And that is who they go after. And that's what sucks about it, because there's dudes out there, man, that there's so many good coaches out there that will turn a place. Watch what Coach, a good friend of mine, the head coach at KU. I got him beating West Virginia this week. Watch how good KU is this year compared to last year, and watch what they do with him staying there. He'll be there 5-6 years. Watch how good KU gets, because this guy knows how to build a culture. He's from a smaller school. He understands what it takes to build a place from scratch, and he'll use the portal accordingly. He won't abuse the portal, and he won't be abused in the portal. That is the difference. And you need a guy like that there in Nebraska, because, like you said, you do have resources, you do have the fan base, you do have the facility and the stadium. Why can't you win there? There's no fucking way you're telling me you can't win there.
The culture's got to be right, and that comes with a good coach, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just a matter of buy-in. So what did Scott Frost do different at Central Florida to go undefeated?
Good question. I don't know what he did, and I wish if we knew what he did there, he could bring it here.
Bro, he didn't do anything different. You think he just got fucking retarded overnight? No.
I know.
He had better kids at Central Florida than everyone in that division, and he won in that division, and he had the best talent in that division. And what happened was he got to a place that he wanted to succeed at so much because it's his alma mater. And the pressure on him for being Scott Frost, showing up, everyone's excited. Fuck, he's undefeated at Central Florida. You hire him at Nebraska, da-da-da-da-da. And do you think Josh Heupel went there right after and won as well? And then he got a Tennessee job, didn't he? So is everybody just great at Central Florida and then shitty everywhere else? Because Josh Heupel hasn't won at Tennessee either, bro. So, like, can people figure out, can these administrators be that dumb? They don't understand this? Like, holy shit, they got PhDs and you can't figure out that this is really the thing? So there's a difference between a big fish in a small pond and a big fish in a big pond. Scott Frost was a big fish in a small pond. His ass should have stayed there. Now he got in the big pond and he's getting his fucking ass ate up. And the smartest people in the world are the guys like Mark Few, the head coach at Gonzaga basketball. He's been offered jobs at Duke, Michigan, UCLA to replace Coach K and go to UCLA and all these big-time places. He's like, nah, I'm going to stay. Because he knows big fish in a small pond is not a bad fucking thing. And his legacy is going to live on forever as being one of the greatest. But he goes to UCLA, bro, he's going to be fucking average as shit. And that's just the reality. And the bottom line is you need a guy that's invested and rooted in that culture. Not only just Nebraska and Lincoln, Nebraska, you got to have an understanding of today's kid in these households all around this country and understand what it's going to take to get them out of there and bring them to Lincoln, Nebraska. And that's going to take a cat that wants to create a culture, and get a club to understand, a booster club and a bunch of people to understand this ain't going to be built in a year, even though I believe you can do it now with the portal in a year, just like JUCO. But having said that, this can't be built overnight, and I need 3 years. And I need to understand, you need to understand, the portal is very, very hard to start a program from scratch with, because Nebraska is starting from scratch in essence, and you're battling this portal, losing kids and gaining kids every single time you hire a new coach. So the boosters and the president need to understand this, and until that happens, Nebraska's going to be bad for a long time, man.
All right, well, I got a final question for you, tied into all that. Nebraska's biggest issue over these last few years is they haven't built the right culture. Scott Frost hasn't figured out how to connect to the guys the right way. There's been something. There's a disconnect. The players don't play for him like they need to be. What would you do different? Because you're a culture guy and you know how to build those relationships. What is the main thing a coach can do and a main thing we should hope for our next head coach to do to build it?
First of all, there's like this fallacy out there that you guys have a lot of good players. You don't. You're not very good, bro. Your guy's not very good. My JUCO team would have shitted on Nebraska's talent on the roster. Your roster's not very good. So I hate to tell the truth to everyone out there listening. Your roster's not very good, because I'm going to tell you, coaching is very overrated. Players win games. Coaches fucking lose games. It ain't the other way around. Everyone thinks Scott Frost is supposed to call this magnificent play that's going to take them to the fucking national title when they have a wide receiver who runs a 4-8 against a first-round NFL corner at Ohio State. No, it's not happening, bro. That is what you guys have right now. You guys have a fan base who thinks you have a lot of good talent that hasn't bought into Scott Frost. I think you have a shitty roster who is shitty. So that's the difference. And that's what the truth is, and that's what the bottom line is. You're telling me that Northwestern talent, roster-wise, should be equal or better than Nebraska's?
No,
you have to have a 4.0, bro. You have to have a 4.0 to get in that place. And they look better on the field, talent-wise, than Nebraska. Sorry. So don't say that their roster's that good and they're not buying in. That's just what I wanted to first tell you. Now, secondly, culture starts with a mission statement, a core value setting, a system, and full autonomy from the president, from the main booster paying, all the way to your equipment manager. Full autonomy from the head coach. And if the head coach don't have full autonomy, meaning I can get this kid in here anytime I want, regardless of GPA. I can bend and maneuver some shit to get this kid in here. I can do this and do that. I can jump on a private jet and go get this kid. Nick Saban goes into the president's office at Alabama and says, I need the keys to the private jet. I'm out of here. Okay, coach. There ain't no, I'm sorry, I got water polo tomorrow. No, it's number one. And Scott Frost don't have full autonomy. I know for a fact. And either there's a lot of these schools that are shitty because it starts at the top and it has to be a one-tongue language. Everyone has to say we're in this thing to win it. Half of Nebraska's in it. Half of them's not. The fan base thinks that it's a cultural thing. It is a culture thing, but it's from the fucking president on down, and that's what creates the culture. And then you hire a coach who wants to set a precedent within that culture. And that is something that's missing at a lot of places, not just Nebraska. Look at SC, look at UCLA, look at Miami, bro. It's happening everywhere, and it's because of this portal and the soft-natured kids that we have in society, and that is what it is. And now you have a watered-down product on a national scale, and everyone thinks, oh, Appalachian State should beat No, they shouldn't. They're shitty. You are shitty. Football is shitty across the board. Besides Alabama and Georgia and maybe Clemson, year in and year out. Tell me a school that's fucking out here winning natties every year like Alabama. Nobody. And you're paying them $10 million, dog. You pay Jimbo Fisher $10 million. You pay James Franklin $9 million. You paid Lincoln Riley $10 million. What has fucking Lincoln Riley done? Nothing. They have done nothing. And that's what people don't understand. And it's like, dog, you're recycling the same old dude. Pay me $500,000. give me a salary pool for my staff that's the same or equal to what Scott Frost has, and watch what I do. And I'll do a year-to-year contract. And if I fucking produce, you pay me what I'm worth. If I don't, you fire me. And that will save your institution big dollars, and it will allow you to make the right hire, and it'll allow you to prove a coach to prove, hey, man, there's better things out here than the big-name commercialized guy you're paying $10 million to just to fucking lose every year, and then you're going to pay Scott Frost $10 million to leave.
It opens my eyes, makes me think a little bit different about it.
The hustler.
I think a lot of people would like to see you as our coach. I'll tell you that right now, based on some things you said. But I'm going to wrap this one up.
I don't boast a lot or talk shit, but I'll tell you right now, Nebraska or fucking San Jose State, I'll win.
I believe it. All right, we're gonna finish this one off with some questions. We got some A or B's. You're just gonna answer A or B, the better of the two. A, Luke Fickell. B, Kalani Sitake.
Kalani, one of my best friends, all day. Fuck Luke Fickell.
Just so you guys know, Kalani Sitake is the coach at BYU. What if Luke Fickell was Nebraska's next coach? You like him as a potential or no? Nothing special?
I don't fuck with him. I don't let him in my office. I don't fuck with him. But no, I don't. But that's just me. Maybe you guys will. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's not your guy's coach, to be honest. I think he'll be your coach. I actually think he'll be your next coach.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I got my second one. Caleb Williams, A, or B, CJ Stroud?
I'm going to rock with Caleb Williams this year because he's on the West Coast, better weather. And he's not going to have to play in the snow this year. And, he'll have the better year this year in a shittier conference.
Weaker schedule is really going to help him out. All right. Ryan Day or Lincoln Riley?
Day. I don't.
You think Lincoln Riley? You think Lincoln Riley could? You think Lincoln Riley could get him to the playoff this year?
I don't know. SC, the conference is bad. Utah was supposedly the team, and they got beat by the fucking worst team in SEC. I mean, that just tells you where they are in the Pac-12. Oregon gets drugged by 75, so it's like, it's bad football out here right now, and it's a mockery as far as the staffs out here. But having said that, I don't know. I don't fuck with Riley either, so he's another one I didn't let in my office. I don't know. Maybe.
I think they get playoff just because they have such a shit schedule.
Maybe, but they'll fuck around and still lose to somebody. They'll lose to some city. They'll lose to Oregon State or some shit.
Fair enough. All right, my final question for you. A, blondes, B, brunettes.
Brunettes.
At least we're all on the same page. All right, well, thank you for coming on, JB. I think we learned a lot today. It's a great show. And thank you guys for all tapping in. I know we didn't get to many of the questions. JB is on fire. He's got a lot to say. So for the next show, I'll make sure we get some more questions answered. And then JB, I know you got a book. Really quick, what's in the book?
Fucking pages? What do you mean?
I know. What's the fucking book about? I'm trying to see if this is something I should buy and give away to a few of the people who are on the show today.
Bestseller, dog. Number 1 bestseller. You know what the number 2 bestseller was? If you guessed number 2 bestseller after my book, I'll send you a case of my whiskey.
Dude, do I look like I read books?
The Bible.
It's in the sports genre, so it's a sports figure.
Colin
Are you
Kaepernick.
talking about sports books?
Tom Brady is the second highest bestseller after my book. How about that shit? Would you ever expect that shit? I would
never expect it.
It's basically, man, it's a good read, man. It's a short read because it's a JUCO read. It's not JUCO just specifically, but it's my life, it's my bio, and it's included in a bunch of different coaching attributes and life attributes that you can take out of it, and you can help some kids out, help some people out in general. And I think everyone that's read it, man, from A-list celebrities to fucking coaches at the 4-year level, I had a few D1 staffs make their whole staff read it. So that'll tell you something about it. But there's some nuggets in there, man, for just the general population, and then coaches, I think, should all read it.
All right, I'm going to buy 3 copies of those and give those out to you guys. So after this video is done, go and comment on this video and pick 3 people to send that book out to. Thank you, JB, for coming on. This was an awesome show.
Hey,
learned a lot.
Buy it from me, and I'll sign it.
Okay, I'll do that.
And it's buy it from me, and I'll sign it. And then just buy it from me through Venmo. I'll sign them all for your guys to win.
Perfect. I'm having sign. I'm having put 2 corn crazed on there for us. All right, JB, I'm going to DM you on Twitter about that. Thanks for coming on again. Thank you all for being here. This is a great show once again, and I'll see you next week. Have fun with Thursday Night Football. Peace out.